Welcome. In this session, we would focus on how to score well for your geography option. Now understand, first of all, we need to focus on the fact whether you are a geography student or a non-geography student. We'll talk about the approaches for both category of a student in this lecture. But the most important thing we'll start with is doing a SWOT analysis. It's a simple management technique where we talk about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Now, if you are a non-geography student, then in the geography section, physical geography is a section that you can quickly do, right? So let me first classify this geography strategy into 4 sections that I would say. The first is physical geography, human geography, India geography, and finally the section on maps. Now, if you talk about the section on maps, I would say that here in the section on maps, you can actually go to the list of topics and see that all these topics are covered. This includes the various educational institutions. It also talks about the various defense structures, the important locations. It focuses on the historical, culture and tourism aspects. So this section on maps is one of the most scoring sections that students usually prefer doing, and this can be prepared simply by the reference that we have cited. Now, along with that, for maps, you would require contemporary information. So, recent places that have been in news are important to be covered along with it. Now comes the main aspect of geography, which is the physical geography, human and India. As I mentioned, if you are a non-geography student from science background, you would find the topics of physical geography really interesting and really easy to memorize. But on the other hand, you might face difficulties with the section on human and economic geography. Now, the approach for answering the question for each of these segments vary, and that is some of the most important things that a student miss when they are doing the practice or writing their answers. While we have been evaluating various tests, we are finding that students in physical geography focus on the facts. That's correct, but they miss an important concept, and that is focusing or explaining through either diagrams or a proper classification. Even if there are theories, you have to explain the theories with the basic idea which has been propounded under the theory, the assumptions of the theory, the drawbacks and the positive aspects of the theory. Now, this is what is usually missing from the copy or your answer booklet that we try to evaluate. Now, when you are going through the section on physical geography, let's say you are asked about the landforms. Let's focus on fluvial landforms as an example. So here what would happen is, rather than simply starting with fluvial landforms and explaining what are the landforms and simply mentioning the names, it's a good idea to do a quick categorization. First of all, the river flow. You can explain that in summary and say that in the upper stage there are the erosional landforms, and at the end of the river, where the river meets the ocean, you have the depositional features which are seen. So broadly, we can classify the landforms under erosional and depositional, and then you can list out the various examples, and each of these examples you can represent with a small diagram that could be placed along with the text. That's one good way. But this whole thing of physical, the similar goes with monsoons, jet streams, El Nino, La Nina, extremely important for 2024, right? So these topics become really challenging for students if they lack conceptual clarity. So for physical geography, I would definitely recommend, if you have a very good conceptual clarity, you are all set with it. And to identify the important topics and the list of these topics, you can go on to the chapterization that we have done in the books, and even we have taken a separate lecture over it where we have identified important topics from each of these segments separately. So coming back onto the next section, that is the human and the economic geography. Now, human and economic geography is a little different story to understand. First of all, it's more like a history of thought. So you have to develop first of all an interest into it and read it from a flow that you are reading a storybook. So what happened during the ancient period followed by the medieval period and the modern period, the important scholars, their contribution, and how the era of welfare geography, radical geography evolved, the quantitative revolution came into geography. So it's a kind of a smooth flow. The dichotomy and dualism has to be discussed. Then the concepts related to various scholars, for example, the contribution of Arab scholars. So you can take the major Arab scholars, the contribution of Indian scholars. So what is important to substantiate in your answer is some of the important quotes of the authors. If the students from the subject background who have done their bachelor's and master's do read a lot of text on it and therefore can put that in your answer copy. So that's a good way of revealing your answer and making it more emphatic. The next is the sections on economic geography. Now economic geography is a slightly scientific, slightly theoretical, so we can say it's a mix of the two. But moreover here, when specifically it comes to theories, you have to not only just understand the theory, but two important things that have to be taken into consideration. One is the contemporary application. Now, this is a commonly asked question. You would say, yes, what's new when you are talking about it? The new thing here is you don't have to mention how it would be applicable in a real world. Rather, it would be a good example. You can take a specific example, or I could say a specific case study. For example, if we talk about urban development and the theory is related to regional planning, you can explain the concept of metro as has been seen in the regions of Portland for urban planning and exceptional landmark development in the United States. Similarly, you can jot down the case studies from France for aesthetic designings for urban areas. The concept of garden city you can bring into aspect when you are talking about urban development. So focusing on contemporary, not just a general applicability in the countries, but bringing in specific case studies from specific areas would surmount your answer better. And the second important thing when you talk about theories is modifications of theories. Now these modifications could be official modifications which have been done by geographers and scholars, or it could be a modification that you feel can actually bring in a turning point into the existing theory. So either ways you can actually substantiate the section on theories. So that's one way of addressing the issue. The next important topic, or the last one that we would discuss, is the India geography. Now India geography, since it's a theoretical topic, there is nothing much one can explain or help you with. You have to simply read and remember it. So for this section, we would recommend that when you are going through the sections on India geography, which is read and remember section, I would say, here the main focus is how do you actually create your answer as a separate answer from the ones that are going along with the lot, right? So here what you need to take into account is one very important fact, and that is the development. Now if it is, let's say, if I talk about mineral resources in a country, for example, right? So here you would have to go with the statistics. It could be production, consumption, it can be the statistics on import, export, but these small statistical aspects help your answers stay aside from the rest of the sets. Now bringing in census data, the census modification, there was a recent report in yesterday's paper talking about the changing demographic dividend of India, and the demographic dividend of India would be similar to the demographic dividend of present China. That means India would witness a significantly higher amount of aging population by 2050, and this would create a huge burden on the government in terms of the pension responsibilities and social security responsibilities. Not only this, the doubling age of the geriatric population or the aged population in France is considered as 100 years, but it is believed that in India it would be only 20 years. So a huge amount of burden which could be witnessed with the changes in the demographic dividend. So this again becomes a very important topic for this time. Similarly, other important topic come from the section on environment. Now these basically pertain to the changing weather phenomena because of climate change. One of the important ones this time, extremely important, is heat waves. The second extremely important topic for this year is groundwater depletion. Again, episodes of recurrent and flash floods. Interlinking of rivers, obviously a very important topic to reduce this disparity, and more importantly, agriculture in India. With rising heat waves, rising flood conditions, there has been a significant drop in the production, which has further accentuated the issue of price rise along with the rising inflation which was already witnessed. So those are some of the key things that you need to actually focus on. Now as you send in your answers for evaluation, you can choose the specific section that you feel as per the SWOT analysis where you are weak in, and focus only on the questions pertaining to those. So let's say if I go onto the section on climatology, so here these topics, as you can see, the Thorndike classification and the difference between the temperate and the tropical cyclone, the various theories are the basic topic. But some important topic is, for example, MONIX and IMD. We have witnessed failures of IMD temperature sensors this year in the summers. So again, that becomes an important topic. Also, the impact of salinity, the coastal areas, the sustainable urban climatology as one of the questions that has been given. Now, the impact of urban heat island in metropolitan cities. So how we see the heat differentials in the rural area versus the urban area, and the impact of heat waves higher in the urban area. We have also seen corrosion of EC pipelines, the copper pipelines being corroded because of the toxic fumes that are coming in along with the rising temperatures. So all these are one or the other parameters that have to be included in your answers, and how do you actually bring your points is really important. So I definitely say that if you want to go through the model questions, it's a good option, but rather a better option would be to understand how to actually write, and that practice is unique for every individual. So your writing style would be very different from someone else, or would be very different from how I write, but it's important that you maintain that unique element of writing, and that would make sure or ensure that your answer copy stand besides the crowd. So thanks for joining in, and yes, for any practice or any information, feel free to connect back. Have a wonderful day ahead.